Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Lewis. I'm a 29-year-old personal chef in Bedminster, New Jersey. I really wanted to be in New York at the casting call right now, but instead I am on my way to Maine for vacation to eat lots of fresh lobster and pick blueberries and drink lots of beer, so hopefully you understand. And this is my first time ever filming anything, filming myself, so please, I hope that gives me some kind of brownie points if you see my hair catch on fire or if the smoke detectors go off, that is why. So to give you a little bit of background about myself, I went to Le Cordon Bleu at 18 years old, fresh out of high school. I've always known that I wanted to cook. It's always been a passion of mine ever since I was in elementary school. I remember being in 3rd grade. I was probably whatever that is, like 5 or 6 years old, and we had an international day at school. Everyone had to make a dish from around the world, and all these 3rd graders were making things like tacos and burritos and pizza for Italy, and I decided to make meatballs from, my inspiration was Spain, and I made meatballs with big olives, green olives in the center, and needless to say, every child was like, what is this? And I was so proud of my meatballs, and that was my first food memory. And ever since then, I've always loved food. I've always known that this is what I wanted to do. And so I went to culinary school right out of high school, and then I spent some time in Charleston, South Carolina, moved out to Napa for a bit, did the wine thing, learned all about wine, and then I met my husband, and I now live in New Jersey with my beautiful 9-month-old baby and my husband. So to give you a little bit of an idea of my style of cooking, I like hearty comfort food. I like heavy, I like thick, I like meaty. I'm a meat eater. I love meat. I'm not into the whole vegetarianism, veganism, gluten-free-ism. I think that's all baloney, no pun intended. And so I like big, heavy, meaty food. I'm a meat eater through and through. So I'm going to make a dish, it's one of my favorites, caramelized scallops on top of a polenta, creamy corn polenta. We're in New Jersey, and corn is in peak season right now. It's delicious, it's sweet, it's yummy. So I have fresh, I took fresh corn, and I'm going to make a fresh corn polenta. Whew, it is sweating in here. A fresh corn polenta, and I'm going to top it with a chorizo gravy and then some caramelized sea scallops. So I will show you what I make. So I'm going to just turn the oven on first and heat up my oil. Okay, you want to come over here? Okay, so I made a chorizo gravy, and then I made my polenta. Like I said, I was in Charleston, South Carolina for a short period of time, well, for a couple years. So a lot of my cooking is influenced by the low country southern food, which I absolutely love. And so I have a polenta with the fresh corn, and then I have a chorizo gravy, which, again, I love meat, I love big, bold flavors, and that's what this comes into play. So I'm going to heat my oil for the scallops. I just have some vegetable oil in here, and sometimes I use clarified butter or vegetable oil, whatever can withstand the high heat. And I'll let that heat up, and I'll get my scallops, which I've been letting sit out. They've been sitting out for about half an hour or so on a paper towel. I wanted to kind of get the moisture soaked in here. And I'm going to season them with a little bit of fine salt. On both sides. While my heat cranks up there, and then I'm going to heat up my gravy, my polenta that I made earlier. Okay, so that's good with that. That is heating up, and I'm going to give this a whisk. With the polenta, I just made a nice corn polenta. I finished it off with some butter and heavy cream, and then the fresh corn. So I'm going to heat that up. And then my gravy. Just wanted to keep it up, turn it off. I also love Mexican flavors. I go crazy for cilantro. I go crazy for any kind of Mexican food, Mexican flavor. I put that in everything. So I guess you could even call it kind of a fusion. Oh, this one's off. And that one's on. Whoop! No wonder that one was going away. Okay, now we're going to heat up our oil from the start again. That is good. We're going to turn that off. We're going to turn that off. We're going to heat that up. So anyway, so I like a lot of bold flavors. And I have the kind of like the Mexican influence and then the southern influence here. So once this gets to be hot, I don't want it smoking, but I want it to be to the point where it's just about to smoke. We're going to add our scallops, and I want to get that nice caramelized, crusty, dark top on both sides. So should be ready soon. And then I also took out that little, I don't know what you call it, like the member. Wait, Grant, don't film that part. You don't want to film that. I don't know what to do. I thought the camera going in that direction. I don't want to go that direction. Anyway, I took out that member or whatever on the scallop earlier, so that's ready to go. Okay. So that probably meant some kind of water met surface with the oil. So that's why that spark just ignited. Okay, so let's go. Okay, we're gonna add our scallops. So like I said, I just heated up some vegetable oil and got it to a nice hot temperature. I'm going to let those cook so that they caramelize on the outside. We'll let those sit there for around 2 minutes on each side. So, like I said, I went to the Cordon Bleu at 18 years old. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I came from a small town in Ohio, very small, about 45 minutes away from Cincinnati. And the nicest restaurant in town was called Rancher's Roast Beef. And not like roast beef, like good roast beef, but like a knockoff of Arby's. And that was the spot where everyone went every weekend. We got our Rancher's Roast Beef and our curly fries with some nasty cheese sauce, but it was amazing at the time. So when I went to school in France, I had not a clue what I was doing. I had never even held a chef's knife before. But I learned. I had an awesome time at a time in my life. And when I came home from France, I worked at several catering companies, worked at a couple restaurants, traveled around the States, learned about all different kinds of regional cuisines, and then that's where I am today. That's how I got to be where I am today. And I have a couple awesome families that I work for here in New Jersey. New Jersey is a beautiful, awesome state, no matter what anyone says. And obviously Anthony Bourdain is from New Jersey, so he will tell you otherwise if someone has something negative to say about New Jersey. And so let me check my spout. So they're still sticking a little, so I'm going to wait until they don't stick to the pan and then I can flip them.